What's up everybody, Goat Toaster 9, JJ Shankles here, back with a quick unboxing video. Today was a very special one. You probably read it in the title, but this is a 20th anniversary unboxing of the Nikon D1. The original, the digital camera that started it all. Nikon's first professional line of digital cameras, and it is a beast. It's amazing how much has changed and how much has stayed the same in the years from the Nikon D1 all the way up to the D5, D850, and now the new mirrorless systems. I'm filming this right now on the Z6, and it's amazing to see what's changed, but what's stayed the same in over all these years. The same lens caps. They work on the D1 from 1999. 1999, very old system. They work from then all the way up to the brand new lenses you use today. It's the same lens cap, you pop it off, pop it on. It works exactly the same. So I want to go talk through a couple quick features. This is just a quick unboxing overview spec thing that I want to do later on this week. I'm going to do a comparison this versus the Z6 to see what's different, see what's the same comparison wise. There's a couple huge differences, but some things that are it's still Nikon, it's still an amazing system. I'd still use the same lenses on the Z6 as I would on the D1. And so let's get into it. The first thing to notice is the size of this camera. This being their professional line, they mount the batteries underneath. This allows them to mount larger batteries. It's not an additional battery grip you attach on the bottom like an 850 or the 750 of the Nikon series. But this one has it built in, huge battery underneath. But this one specifically is way different than the D2. It wasn't a lithium, it was a mercury lead battery in there. But they were very unreliable actually. But nowadays buying a charger for one of those batteries is more expensive than the entire camera was for me to buy on eBay. This camera specifically I bought for $30 because the owner didn't know if it worked or not. So I bought it sort of not knowing. It was a gamble, but it's only 30 bucks for a piece of history, and I'm willing to take that gamble. Even if it didn't work, I'd mount this on my wall. This is an amazing piece of tech. But the battery chargers alone were going for almost $60, $70 on eBay. So I bought just an AC adapter. With this, you can plug it right into the front, which is a weird place for an AC adapter. It mounts right on the front there. There's a port for it to go into. And you can turn it on. Let's see if I can get some clicks here. And it sounds good. You hear that? Oh yeah. This thing, it didn't say how many shutter activations it's had, but it's a very worn body. All the corners and edges are very scuffed up, just well used. It's been treated nice, I would say. It's in decent condition for being a 20-year-old professional camera. The original price was $5,000. Puts it out of the range of a hobbyist who wants to just play around, unless you got some really thick checkbooks, because with inflation that would make that $5,000 even more nowadays. Let's go around the body and some quick similarities to the modern systems. On the right, there's an aperture preview button. So like all DSLR cameras, you press that button and it'll step the aperture down to what you're shooting at, and you can preview it through the optical viewfinder. Standard, it's got the mirror system in there. Over to the right will be the release button. Right here, there's a physical dial to switch between manual, single servo, and continuous servo autofocusing systems. There's a front mount for a voltage out and a DC in. I don't know what the voltage out is, but DC in would be an AC system like I have to power the system. Here's more remote shutters on the front. It is peeling a little bit, so that's that. It's interesting that the top dial is fairly similar to the modern D line, and even with the 850 has a similar, it's got a button for bracket, flash, targeting, or which focus point you want to use. Monitor, delete buttons, very similar to even the Nikon Z6. One interesting part is down here, there's a little window you can use to open up, and you got your white balance button, your ISO button, quality, and your menu system here. The menu system is really unique in that it's very user-friendly. This is the least user-friendly. The menu settings, you have to use almost a lookup table to know menu setting 1 is this, menu setting 2 is this, because you just dial through 1, 2, 3 to up to, I think, 32 different menu items, and you have to know what you want to set them at. There's a tiny little LCD screen here that gives you color output, a D-pad here that you can lock and unlock, digital I/O ports for expandability. It does have a vertical dial, vertical shutter button here. Then up top, it has a lot of the same autofocus on, auto exposure lock, autofocus lock, the top screen, the diopter for adjusting, calibrating the viewfinder to how you like it. Up here, there's a physical dial to set the metering mode. There's single point, matrix, and center weighted metering, which is really cool that a camera this old still has all those same features that we still use nowadays, that they're just maybe doesn't have as many settings. It still has metering modes, but not as many as we would use nowadays. It has on-off dial, same as the Z6 has. This one even has a light. It'll do a backlight on this top screen to allow you to see it in low light. There's a mode button up here and a aperture compensation button. It doesn't have the ISO. The ISO button's actually down here because on this one, the ISO can only go between 200 and 1600. Super narrow range there. It can't even go down to 100, and 1600, we'll see how usable that is. Because I haven't been able to actually use this one, because let me show you the card slot. You open this up, press a button, this one opens. This is where you stick your compact flash cards. They go in like that, flip that over, lock it in. But I didn't know the difference, and so I just bought a 16 gigabyte card because it was the same price as most of the smaller cards. But it turns out this camera, using I think it uses an FAT16 memory system, which can only index up to 2 gigabytes, so you can't use over a 2 gigabyte card. So I ordered a 2 gigabyte card, so when I do the comparison with the Z6, hopefully I'll be able to use this one, actually get some photos out of it, and we can compare it with that. Around to the front, I really like it. Still has that red stripe on every other Nikon camera from this one up to the Z6 has that red stripe. This one has it vertically. It's the only one that has it vertically. From the D2 on, they have it right here under the index finger grip. The Z system actually has it over to the right, which is kind of interesting to see, but it's still that same red stripe that they've had on all their digital cameras. I really like the unification of their line of all digital cameras being very similar. Same hot shoe mount. This one does have the dial here. It would have it's a little shutter that closes the back eyepiece for long exposures, so light doesn't get in through there and ruin the long exposures. Not an issue on a Nikon Z6 since it's electronic, doesn't really matter. And here it's actually broken. The paint is really scuffed off there, so I don't know if it was constantly beaten with how it was stored or something. I don't really know how this camera was treated, but it doesn't actually close right now. I didn't want to force it. But I think that's a full roundup of the Nikon D1, the original, the granddaddy digital camera for Nikon that started it all, led to the new systems, the mirrorless systems that I'm filming on right now. So later this week, I'm gonna come out with a full comparison between this one and that one once I can actually start shooting on this to get some real comparison in there. So this is a quick unboxing video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a like and subscribe down below. If you subscribe, you'll make sure you won't miss the comparison between the original Nikon digital camera and the Nikon Z6. We'll compare them out, see what's similar, see what's different. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down and let me know in the comments what you wish I would did differently. Any questions you have about the D1 camera, about the Nikon system as a whole, and I'll get back to you and answer those questions. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day. Go Toaster out.